We've got more bad news here. Trucking companies are closing down. Certainly can't be a sign of a healthy economy, if you ask me. We have a Yahoo article here written by, I believe, Clarissa Hawes. Illinois trucking company with 480 drivers abruptly ceases operations. And this is from September 6th, so a little over a week ago now, relatively recent here. So let's see what the article says. An Illinois-based trucking and logistics company, which contracted with the U.S. Postal Service to haul mail, has notified over 650 employees, including more than 480 drivers, that the carrier is ceasing operations, according to a source familiar with the closure. Former truck drivers for Midwest Transport, Inc., or MTI, headquartered in Robinson, Illinois, told FreightWaves that they received telephone calls from their regional managers late Thursday notifying them that the company was winding down operations. I just want to take a look here. Pulled it up on a map. Wanted to see Robinson, Illinois. Not familiar with the area. Let's see. Robinson, Illinois. So it looks like this is a smaller town in central to southern Illinois, close to the Indiana border here. If you can see right here on the right hand side, you've got this dotted line. I think this is the edge of Illinois. So yeah, small town right on the Illinois-Indiana border. Moving on here, right in the article. As of publication on Friday, MTI has not issued a formal statement about what led to the closure. However, FreightWaves confirmed with some former senior managers and truck drivers who worked for the mail contractor that the company was ending operations. They did not want to be named in the article for fear of retaliation. Interesting. I mean, I guess at this point, if you've already been laid off, I'm not sure what kind of additional retaliation could be taken, I guess, other than maybe a lawsuit. Something interesting wanted to keep going down in the article here. So FMCSA data shows that the company's trucks had been inspected 244 times and 65 had been placed out of service for a 27% out of service rate over the preceding 24-month period. This is significantly higher than the industry's national average of around 22%. Me personally, 27% doesn't seem too much higher than 22%, but obviously I'm not in the trucking industry, so not sure if this is normal. If this is not normal, I guess any truckers or anyone in the industry, if you could let me know in the comment section down below, is this typical? I guess what's the expectation here? Is anything above 22% just considered significant? It's entirely possible that maybe I just don't understand, quite how this works. But continuing on here, MTI's drivers have been inspected 564 times and 16 were placed out of service over a 2-year period, resulting in a nearly 3% out of service rate. This is less than half the industry's national average of 7%, according to FMCSA. So, interesting enough, this kind of sounds like a situation as I'm reading this article where the company was not performing well on a variety of metrics. It sounds like we've got trucks breaking down and needing service, which I would suspect is not necessarily cheap for the company. And again, I don't know if this is one of those situations where the driver individually owns the truck and they're responsible for the repairs, or, right, if it's the company themselves that's responsible. But regardless, continuing on here, I mean, right, the trucking company has had 21 injuries and 42 towaways over the past 24 months. So it kind of seems like there's a couple things going on here in terms of, the vehicles themselves. We've got drivers getting in trouble for some driver fitness issues. But even with all of this, I guess the question I would really pose is, do you think if we were in a quote unquote healthy economic environment, this company couldn't have, weathered the storm, right? the handful of driver issues that they've had. I'm assuming some of the costs of repair for these trucks. I think over the coming months, you're going to start to see more situations like this where you have a company that's maybe not as profitable as it used to be, and all of a sudden these small, nuisances or costs of doing business become sort of a death by a thousand cuts. Certainly interested to hear what you all think in the comments section down below. Do you feel like this company went under due to poor economic conditions, or was this just a potentially poorly run company? I feel like the article here, as I read through it, doesn't really give a ton to go off of in terms of how business itself was doing. So you kind of have to read between the lines a little bit and make some assumptions. I feel like this company must have had some, financial troubles as well. It wasn't really mentioned in the article. I did do some digging, and I actually want to pull up an article here from onetruck.us, and I need to pull up the article here again. Trucking industry turmoil. Yeah, here we go. So this article kind of got me interested in kind of digging a little bit deeper and just sort of seeing what's going on, in the trucking industry as a whole. And I found this article by onetruck.us. The article is by Ken Miller, and it's titled Trucking Industry Turmoil and Closures in 2023-2024. So like I said, the first article that we looked at, right, for this, this maybe smaller trucking company in Illinois, I kind of wanted to see if this was indicative of a bigger issue, or if this was maybe something more, unique that smaller companies are experiencing. Again, not really sure. I'm not really in the trucking industry. I don't know too many folks who are in it. So wanted to dig a little deeper, and in the article here, right, just kind of mentions at the onset, right, how the trucking industry serves as the backbone of our supply chain, right, quietly ensuring the movement of goods across vast distances. But a couple interesting statistics that I just wanted to point out here right at the onset. So closure statistics. In 2023, approximately 88,000 trucking companies ceased operations, along with 8,000 freight brokers. Trucking demand in 2020 saw a 30% increase in volumes compared to 2023. Following the pandemic, railroad shipping volumes dropped by 20% with no recovery. Last mile deliveries surged by 10x, and ocean shipping decreased by 25x. Major trucking companies are grappling with escalating operational costs. Driver wages represented 32% of all trucking-related costs in 2022, while driver benefits accounted for an additional 8%. And I can continue to go on here, but I think really what this article is highlighting, right, is a little bit of kind of what I had mentioned prior, that costs are obviously rising for these trucking businesses. And again, the economic environment, right? Folks are not buying nearly as much stuff, as they were 4 years ago. This article, makes specific mention of, 2020, during the health crisis, right? As a point of comparison. And I think when everyone was at home, right, we were all using, delivery services, and I think it sort of pushed demand to an extreme. But that was for a point in time, right? And that's certainly not sustainable. So what I think you're seeing here, right, is just the pullback from the demand, in that period. Trucking is really one of those industries. I know the article, right here at the top, right, the trucking industry serves as the backbone of the supply chain. And I really agree with that, and I feel like it's also an early warning sign to the rest of us that demand is simply down across the board. Consumers are strapped for cash and just simply not spending as much or as often as they used to, and I think this is likely severely impacting the trucking industry. Like I mentioned before, right? If any of you who are listening are watching. If you work in the trucking industry or if you know somebody who does, let me know in the comments down below what things are like right now. I would certainly be really interested to know. We'll have to do some follow-up videos down the road on this topic as well, because I feel like trucking and freight are just such uniquely good indicators of, where the economy is as a whole. But ultimately, let me know what you guys think. If you all like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. This is a brand new YouTube channel, so any interaction is super helpful, and we'll see you all on the next one. Peace.